Should you read the Tao Te Ching? Well, I don't know. What does should even mean? Will it be fun? Some of the time, but it will mostly be confusing and frustrating. Will it help you achieve your goals? Kinda, but not in the way you think. If anything, it will help you set new goals and achieve those instead. Will it make you happier? It might, but it's more likely to get you to stop worrying about happiness so much. If so, should you read it? Let me answer another question instead. When I ask people about their experience of reading the Tao Te Ching, I get one of two responses. Either 1, I didn't get it, or 2, it changed my life. The question I want to ask is, changed their life? How? We can reasonably assume that it was a positive change, right? Nobody says this book changed my life for the worse. At this point, you might very reasonably ask, why am I not just telling you? Trust me, I would if I could. The thing about language is that it's very good for stuff that you can point at. Here is a sofa. Here is my phone. But how do you point at a state of mind? Well, when you were a child, somebody held you in their arms, and as you were laughing and smiling, they said, "Oh, you're happy now, aren't you?" And then you realize that what you were feeling at the time is what happy is. Presumably, they repeated this process with the other emotions. But how do you describe a perspective? How do you describe a different way to see the world? The Tao Te Ching is a core book of China's philosophy that was written 2,600 years ago by a man nicknamed Lao Tzu. It doesn't have much of a plot, and it only has one character, the hypothetical master, a person who lives in accordance with the Tao. But what is the Tao? Lao Tzu himself writes that the thing can't be defined, and so if anything is defined, it's definitely not the Tao. Instead, what he does is give you enough clues for you to figure it out for yourself. And the reason you can figure it out for yourself is because you already know. You already have the answer within you right now. When I first read the Tao Te Ching, I was frustrated with Buddhism, perhaps unfairly. I read the sutras and knew that they were describing a key to a state of mind, but I didn't get it. I had been meditating for years, but I stopped feeling like it was going anywhere. I knew that enlightenment existed, but I didn't know what it was. I had these little enlightenments, whether sparring in karate class or playing music with friends, these moments of doing without thinking, of just being completely in the moment. Moments not of being without desire, but of being free from it, of letting the action flow through me, whether that action was kicking somebody in the head or laying down a funky groove. But I didn't get how these moments of freedom could be expanded to engulf my whole life. And if I'm honest, I can't tell you that right now every day of my life is just flowing with ease and grace, but something happened to me during the reading of the Tao Te Ching. I've learned something, or more accurately, I realized that something that I've learned before was in fact incorrect and harmful. Quoting the book itself, in the pursuit of knowledge, every day something is added. In the practice of the Tao, every day something is dropped. Surprising, isn't it? But that's what happened. I found out that I was holding on to wrong ideas, and letting go of these ideas made everything in my life easier. Let me tell you a story. Back then, I would see my nephews a lot, and I wanted to teach them philosophy and math and chess, but they didn't want to learn any of these things. They wanted to argue with me and prove me wrong and develop who they were as human beings through conflict. It frustrated me so much. It sounds immature because it was that I was so frustrated that they didn't want to learn what I had to teach. But then I read in the Tao Te Ching that I can practice doing nothing and everything will fall into place, which sounds confusing, but it's instantly applicable, just like accord with the way things are. So the next time I met my nephews, I stopped trying to mold them. I stopped trying to teach them things. If they wanted to play, we played, and if they wanted to argue, we argued, but it wasn't that big of a deal anymore. The moment I realized that this is what they were, that this is what they needed, it became easy and fun. In the end, they did learn philosophy and math and chess because they wanted to, because when I spoke about these things, I made them sound interesting without even trying. And something very similar happened to me in my relationships, in my work, and my art. It's so easy for us to arrive at a situation and decide what we're going to make of it. When you meet strangers at a party, your first impulse is to try and make a good impression, to seem smart and funny and interesting. But who are you to decide how these people are going to see you? That's outside of the realm of your responsibility. All you can do is be there, be present, listen fully and express yourself, and the rest is up to them. Now, I get what you're thinking. Is the Tao about being yourself and not trying so hard? Yes, but these are its branches. The Tao itself is the trunk from which these branches grow, a hidden principle behind all things, behind you, behind the world, and behind the interaction between the two. And it is a principle that our very culture makes it very hard to see, which is why reading this book feels so confusing. Lao Tzu claims to only have three things to teach: simplicity, patience, and compassion. This baffled me. Simplicity? Like, I could get patience and compassion, but simplicity? Cleverness and sophistication are such keystones of our culture, our most honored traits. And yet, the moment I stopped trying to be clever, all of my life improved, especially my social life. Thinking that we're clever so often leads us to try and control delicate social situations by lying or manipulating, or at the very least hiding. But do you know how easy your life becomes when you just tell the truth, when you just let things be what they are? It's tempting to read Practice Doing Nothing as an invitation to give up on life and just lay in bed and wither, but that's not what it means. What it means is to let go of your obsession with trying to mold the future into the specific vision you have, and instead focus on what you can actually do right now. In my experience, the liberation from desire doesn't come so much from some heroic spiritual struggle as much as it comes from the simple understanding that your ambition is a sort of dream. It's not real. It's something you've been taught to hold on to. And once you let it go, you can enjoy your life in a much simpler way. You can cook a meal and enjoy the movements of the knife instead of worrying about how it's going to come out. You can go on a run and enjoy the movement of your body instead of worrying about how many calories you're burning. You can write an essay, and instead of worrying about whether or not it's interesting enough, you can revel in the primal joy of communicating something that you believe in to another human being. So yeah, if you want to have a truer view of reality, if you want to live a life that is more honest and present, you should probably read the Tao Te Ching. However, I should warn you, I made it sound like the Tao Te Ching has a clear message, this clear goal of improving your life. The funny thing is, in order to see those improvements in your life, you need to dive into the text expecting nothing. Quoting the book itself, if you want to be given everything, give everything up. This is one of the many paradoxes that you're going to encounter while reading this book. The confusion is a feature. It is in fact the feature. The book was intentionally written to be radical, confusing, and subversive, even for the time and place that it was written in. Facing this confusion head on is the practice that, once finished, will give you the stability to figure out the truth for yourself instead of being told. If you decide to read it, I hope that you will find it as life-changing as I did, even if you don't get it right away. Huge thanks to my beautiful patrons. We're actually reading the Tao Te Ching right now and analyzing it very, very slowly. If you're interested in that sort of thing, check out my Patreon page below. Until next time, hold on to the center. You hear?